This chart tracks one of the most unexpected financial runs of the modern era. Back in 2008, you could pick up a share of this company for around $3. But if you had dropped $1,000 on it at that absolute low point, you'd be sitting on over $100,000 today. That meteoric rise belongs to Domino's. Today, they operate over 20,000 locations across 90 different markets. They serve more than 1 million customers every single day, completely eclipsing Pizza Hut in sales to become the undisputed largest pizza chain on Earth. But anyone who remembers eating their food in the mid-2000s knows how absurd that level of success seems. Back then, Domino's was a national punchline. The universal consensus, and the most common criticism, was that their crust tasted exactly like cardboard. So how does a restaurant universally mocked for serving bad food grow into an untouchable global giant? The answer requires looking past the menu and examining the architectural blueprints of their entire business model. Domino's didn't survive its early years by perfecting culinary techniques. They survived by engineering a highly efficient logistics operation, a strategy that worked brilliantly until they were eventually forced to tear it all down. The company's DNA was set by its founder, Tom Monaghan. After spending his childhood in an orphanage and various foster homes, Monaghan enlisted in the Marine Corps, absorbing a highly disciplined, scrappy approach to solving problems. In 1960, he and his brother took out a $900 loan to buy a tiny, struggling pizza joint called Domino's, located right next to the Eastern Michigan University campus. The restaurant's physical building was simply too small to house a dining room, so out of sheer necessity, Monaghan leaned entirely into delivering the food directly to the surrounding college dorms. That strict focus on logistics over hospitality paid off. In the 1980s, Monaghan aggressively scaled the company by heavily promoting an operational promise. Your pizza would arrive in 30 minutes or less, or it was free. To hammer that message home, they introduced one of the most chaotic television mascots of the decade, the Noid. The entire marketing campaign was built around the idea that this character would try to delay drivers and ruin the food, but the Domino's delivery system was too fast to let that happen. By the end of the 80s, Domino's was the fastest-growing restaurant chain in the country. They weren't pitching premium ingredients or culinary prestige. They were selling the absolute guarantee of time. But the advantage of a localized delivery monopoly didn't last. In 1986, Pizza Hut, their largest competitor, launched a massive, well-funded delivery network of their own, sparking a direct war for suburban neighborhoods. Under pressure, the 30-minute guarantee shifted from a clever marketing gimmick into a serious operational liability. The public perception quickly turned, viewing Domino's drivers as reckless teenagers speeding through residential streets just to beat a ticking clock. The tipping point arrived in 1989, when a delivery driver ran a red light and severely injured a woman. 4 years later, a jury handed down a staggering $78 million legal verdict, forcing the company to permanently discontinue their signature speed guarantee. At almost the exact same time, they were hit with an entirely separate, bizarre PR nightmare. A mentally unstable man with the actual last name Noid became convinced the company's ad campaign was mocking him personally. He held 2 Domino's employees hostage with a revolver for 5 hours, ultimately forcing the brand to retire the mascot. Amidst the compounding chaos and a decade of breakneck expansion, Tom Monaghan began checking out of the daily operations. He devoted his time and wealth to Catholic religious charities and even bought the Detroit Tigers baseball team, leaving a serious leadership vacuum back at corporate. Heading into the 21st century, Domino's was adrift. They had lost their defining speed guarantee, their highly recognizable mascot, and the intense focus of the man who built the empire. The situation deteriorated entirely during the 2008 financial crisis. With consumer spending heavily restricted, people stopped eating out, and Domino's stock value plummeted down to the single digits. Then, public trust took another devastating blow in 2009. A horrifying viral video surfaced showing 2 rogue employees doing grotesque things to food in the kitchen before allegedly sending it out for delivery. As a result, the brand began bleeding cash. A crucial retail metric called same-store sales, which measures the revenue of individual locations that have been open for over a year, turned negative. This meant individual Domino's restaurants were actively losing their existing customer base. The corporate board had to face a harsh reality. Since every other major pizza chain now offered delivery, saving customers a quick trip in the car was no longer an acceptable excuse for serving terrible food. To stop the collapse, executives launched a radically transparent national ad campaign in 2009. They broadcast actual, brutal customer reviews on television and publicly admitted that their core product simply wasn't good. They backed up the marketing stunt with direct action. The company completely scrapped its legacy recipe, rolling out an entirely new formula for their crust, cheese, and sauce. The aggressive pivot worked immediately. Their negative same-store sales reversed back into the green, driving domestic revenue to record heights and pulling the stock price out of the gutter. To repair the trust broken by the viral video, they leaned further into transparency. They pioneered mobile ordering technology with the Pizza Tracker, an app feature allowing customers to monitor exactly where their food was at every step of the preparation and delivery process. They also overhauled their physical retail footprint. In 2012, they rolled out an open kitchen layout called the Pizza Theater, allowing walk-in customers to clearly see their food being prepared safely by the staff. Domino's ultimately conquered the modern restaurant industry by abandoning the stubborn defense of its original legacy. By possessing the humility to publicly destroy their own product and rebuild it from scratch, they turned a failing logistics company into the dominant force in global pizza.